Hello everyone, welcome to another update video and another huge video for WLW and the channel as a whole. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. It has been an absolute ride and you guys seem to be loving the content, so just, keep coming with the support and I'll keep delivering. It's been an absolute blast. Me, Austin, and Mexi have enjoyed the hell out of it, and Krios has as well. And, today I had to talk about some WLW news and also some news outside of WLW that maybe people who don't want to watch the wrestling content could be interested in. So let's start with the big WLW news. It's a bittersweet goodbye. Solar, the man who's been running the women's division and the creative behind that, is stepping away for kind of personal reasons. I don't want to say why. It's nothing bad. He just wants to go pursue a different career venture. And I am so happy for him. And I can't wait to see what he can do. He's always welcome back in the WLW family. He has been an absolute pleasure to work with. And I can't even think of where WLW would be without him. On to the more news in WLW, kind of what I wanted to talk about before we get into the huge, huge news. I have to right a wrong. And that wrong is the fact that Marana Copeland is not only the WLW Women's Champion, but she's also the WLW Golden Ticket holder. Now that doesn't sit right with me. The fact that she has the ability to cash in, and if she loses her title, I don't like that. I didn't like it when it happened. I still hate it now. So I looked into the legal business and I talked to lawyers, and I found a flaw in her contract and the contract of the Miss Golden Ticket. Contract states you can't be a champion to have the golden ticket. If you become champion, that immediately becomes vacated and that becomes used. So, what does this mean for the golden ticket? Now that Copeland is no longer Miss Golden Ticket, it means it's up for grabs again. And at a recent PLE, we will address this. Maybe death rights, maybe last stand in Berlin. Who knows? But the new WLW Miss Golden Ticket, I'm sorry, I misspoke, will be determined at a PLE in the near future. Now, on to probably what I'm most excited for. Just give me one moment. So, for the longest time, I have been wondering what I should do. What can I do to make this channel more diversified, and what can I do to possibly bring more eyes to the product and maybe converts people into wrestling fans if they're into my commentary. And there has been a little league, if you will, that's been going on for about a couple years now, run by a man named John O'Connell, a great football mind, was a coach at Arizona State, and eventually created something known as the Primetime Football League. Well, I've just found out about the Primetime Football League. It has 8 teams. There's an East and there's a West division. And, I've fallen in love with it. I won't lie. It's amazing to see in these kids that come out of college, and, it's an alternative to the NFL or the XFL or AFL, if you will, or the USFL. I'm sorry. So I did a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the new venture for WLW and the new venture for myself. I give you the PTFL. That's right. Trash Panda, yours truly, has bought the rights to the PTFL. And now, as you can see, the new shield, the new everything, if you will, for the PTFL. A lot of things are going to be different. Obviously, I intend on making this huge and building this culture, and hopefully you guys stay along for the ride. But a lot of you are probably like, oh, well, what's the PTFL? I've never heard of this team. I've never heard of who these people are. That's fine. That is why this video is not only talking about WLW, it's talking about the PTFL. And the Primetime Football League is an absolute pleasure to watch, and I'm going to be doing commentary for it, as well as be the commissioner. I'm going to be completely unbiased about all of this. But let's get into some of these teams, shall we? Let's get into why I purchased this venture and why I think you guys are going to love what we got to bring. And staying in the Eastern Conference, I would like to introduce a team that is much like the Baton Rouge Crimson Tigers, with an air raid offense with their third-year quarterback, Yao Lin, and receivers like Bon Coleman, a fifth year. So obviously, this team is coached by an absolute offensive-minded head coach. This team runs an air raid style offense. They air it out a lot. Kevin Washington out of Cincinnati State become the head coach of the Cincinnati Kings. Let's get a look at them jersey, shall we? We'll start with the home field. Obviously, the Kings, purple and black. Look at these helmets. You can tell, beautiful helmets, and spearheaded by Yao Lin. I can't even imagine what they're going to do this year. It's going to be amazing. And you got the away uniforms. You got the white and purple, and it looks beautiful. In my opinion, one of the best uniforms in the league compared to the Baton Rouge Crimson Tigers, who are also in the Eastern Conference. And then you have the blackout uniforms, only used on special occasions during rivalry games against the team that I'm going to talk about next. But that is the Cincinnati Kings as we move forward talking about the PTFL. Next up, we have the third team in the Eastern Conference, a very, very, very solid Washington team, the Washington Redhawks, coached by the first ever female head coach in the PTFL, Stephanie Churchill. She runs an offensive style of a spread. You're going to see some throws. You're going to see some runs. With their running back, his fifth year in the league, Gary Quinn, who knows? And their wide receivers headlined by Jackson Lufus and Ricky Alonzo. And you look at that defense, it's solid. You got Robbie Watt inside, and you got Gary Waters on the outside. A solid team that runs a 4-3. An absolute defensive powerhouse with a defensive-minded coach like Stephanie Churchill was an assistant in the NFL. Let's get to them uniforms. All right, here you go. You have the home uniforms, the yellow and red of the Redhawks with the golden winged helmets. Solid uniforms. And you got the away uniforms. You got the white jerseys with the red outlines and the golden, again, the golden Eagles type look. And then you have probably one of the best jerseys in the PTFL, the Blackouts. You got the red wings. You got the black jerseys. This jersey combo is absolute immaculate. And I can't wait to see what they can do as they start off the year against their rivals, the Cincinnati Kings. And it's going to be a hell of a fight in Cincinnati. And last but certainly not least, in the Eastern Conference, you have the Southampton Gators. Now, the Southampton Gators are the reigning two-time PTFL champions. They're out of Southampton, New York, an absolute powerhouse of a team, and they just got better. As I'm making this video, as I'm talking this, I got off the phone with head coach Frank Urie. This West Coast style offense just got much better, and their defense is just stout. They run a 3-4. They got guys like Kevin Ripper, a sixth year. They got guys like Garrett Bowles, who's been in the league for 3 years. You got Grayson Butker as a linebacker, and Michael Bridges, an absolute powerhouse. Manny Powers, a fourth year, once a Heisman candidate at the University of UTEP. But the biggest get, along with their star-studded wide receiver room, let's talk about it a bit. Jamison Cooks, formerly in the NFL, played for the Minnesota Vikings. And Stephon Rice, formerly in the Canadian Football League. He's been in the league for 4 years, and Jamison Cook's been in for the 7 years. But they just got their quarterback. After their MVP winning, their Hall of Fame quarterback in Joshua McMillan retired. The Southampton Gators have picked up the former star out of Baton Rouge, Bruno Starr, his 5th year in the league. Since he's been drafted, he has arguably been the best quarterback in the league on a really bad Baton Rouge team who might be able to turn it around this year. Let's talk about his stats for a minute. His first year in the league, he won Rookie of the Year. After that, he won back-to-back MVPs. In the last 3 years, he's been leading the league in rushing and passing. He's been an absolute stud. He only fell short to the man that he took the job from, McMillan. And now he's in Southampton with this star-studded team, and they might make a run for it again, make it a three-peat. Their rivals are Baton Rouge, and that rivalry just got even hotter. These two teams will face off week 1 in the divisional week as the Southampton Gators are at home, allowing the Crimson Tigers to enter their domain. Let's get to those uniforms. And here we go, starting off with the home uniform. We got the black base with the yellow outlines. And if you look up here, the scaled helmets with the Gators. Absolute beautiful logo. You go to the away uniforms, you got the white background with the yellow and the yellow pants. But probably one of the best uniforms in the league. I keep saying that, but all of them are pretty fucking good for the alternates. You got the golden hour, all yellow with the gold helmet and black face mask. And black outlines. It's an absolute solid team. And with Bruno Starr at the helm, who knows? And they still got draft picks too. Now we head on to the Western Conference in the PTFL. Starting off with the Western Conference, we have a team that is very near and dear to my heart because my tag partner, the longest reigning WULW commentator, and I'm sorry, no, not longest tenured, the longest reigning Bushido Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion, my partner, Austin Slokey, is the head coach of the San Diego Vipers. Obviously, Austin is a very defensive-minded coach, but also he brings something to the table that not a lot of coaches bring, the run game. And with a run game like this, they might win a lot of games and possibly go to the PTFL championship. They got a running back in Shannon Beck, who's an absolute stud. His 4th year in the league, he's led the league in rushing for the past 3 seasons. Not just that, though. You got guys on the outside, wide receivers with their 5th year and their 2nd year. You got Stevie Vetter as a tight end, an absolute stud. He's 6'5". And you got Landon McAllister, his 5th year in the league, looking to make an impact. They can only get a quarterback in that room. Maybe they can make a run this year. But on that defensive side, you got guys like Booker White out of LSU, an absolute stud, his 7th year in the league. He was in the NFL for 2 years, played for the Dallas Cowboys. You got Davis Johnson, a 4th year out of Auburn. Played in the Canadian Football League for a little bit, for at least 2 years before he came to the PTFL. You got the linebacker Cooper Tanner with his 4th season in the PTFL. Cooper Tanner was a stud for the Baltimore Ravens much time ago. And then probably one of the biggest names on this team, Chad Dickinson, the safety. A safety that was an absolute defensive player of the year for every single year he's played. He's dominated on the defensive side of the ball. This team is a defensive powerhouse. And they're starting off against their rivals, Oregon. But it's a home game. With the home game, let's get into those jerseys. Here you go. Starting off, you got the San Diego Vipers home jerseys. You got the Vipers logo on the helmet. You got the green base and the yellow pants. You got the away jerseys, the white base, the green outlines, and the same helmet. But one of the best uniforms. The alternates, as always, are amazing. You got the green outs. You got the all black with the nice logo, and then you got the green outline. And like I said before, they're playing against the Oregon Crusaders week 1 in a rivalry game. It's going to be a hell of a fight in San Diego. Next up for the Western Conference, we got the Oregon Crusaders, head coached by former NFL offensive coordinator Kalani Peterson. Now, I know you're going to be confused. Well, Kalani is a woman, right? I mean, there. When is there an offense coordinator? Kalani was an offense coordinator in the preseason for the Cleveland Browns, and obviously things didn't work out. And then she went to the PTFL, and she's been the head coach here for about 2 or 3 years, and she's made this an absolute prominent football team with their running back Jimmy Wynn in his 6th year. Then you got wide receivers like Kyle Karp and the tight end Braden Evergreen. But this team is a heavy run offense. And if they can get a stud at running back in the draft this year, there is no telling what they could do. They could make a run. Their defense is very young. Average age is about 27. But they are studs, to say the least. Got guys like in their 2nd year, Tua Halapota, the safety out of Miami, an absolute stud. And a guy that could change everything for a culture, for a team. And he's an Oregon Crusader for life. Like I said, they're taking on San Diego at home. So it's going to be tough going into San Diego, in my opinion. Getting into the jerseys, here's your home jerseys for Oregon. Obviously, the mountain outcropping as they are closer up north to Canada. You got the away uniforms, the white base, the blue helmets. It's just an absolute beauty of jersey combination. And then you got the alternates, the whiteouts. Obviously, Oregon gets some snow, and we're going to see if they get some this year. But they face off against San Diego later next week. Continuing on, we have another Western team in the PTFL, the Oklahoma City Bisons, coached by Vanessa Jeffries, an absolute stud of a head coach, a solid head coach. Person that also prides herself on having a heavy run game. She runs a 3-4 on defense, and with their 4th-year quarterback, Hunter Garrett, at the helm this year, this might be their year to make a run in the PTFL. They got guys like Rashad Luger, his 2nd year. He had a great year in his rookie year, almost won Rookie of the Year last year as a running back. Was just outside of the rushing numbers. But they go off against their rivals, San Antonio, week 1. But you got guys like Jack Victory on the outside who had a great connection with Hunter Garrett in the last few seasons. It's a very young team, and I'm excited to see what they can bring to this PTFL. Starting off with the home jerseys, got the all blues with the orange pants and the orange horns to represent the Bison. Then you got the white base with the blue helmets and the orange pants, and then big orange helmets, blue outlines, only used on special occasions, but they will take on an absolute powerhouse of the PTFL. Week 1 at San Antonio. And last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the runner-up for the past 2 years for the PTFL Championship. I give you the San Antonio Rams, spearheaded by Zach Peterson. And our offensive style that is insane with their rookie Camden Zacchaeus at the helm. It is his 2nd year in the league. Along with that, he's got a returning Nigel Dokes off of a new contract, his 4th year in the league, and he's got receivers like Luther Johnson. And if they can get more guys to complement Luther and Connor Van Green, their tight end, this team can go very far with their air raid offense. Their defense is solid. They got Franco Potter out of Alabama. They got Sean Alexander on the D end from LSU. They run a 4-3. It's a solid defense with Caesar Greeny in the middle with Nick Dalton next to him. Oscar Bateson on the outside, an absolute stud of a corner. And then their huge safety, the best player on their defense, they say, Dean Unig. His 4th year in the league. Has led the league in interceptions. Number 36 out of Middle Tennessee, a guy who fought his way to get to this point, and he has been an absolute stud and a must-have for San Antonio. Getting into the uniforms here, you got the home uniforms, the big reds, if you will. The red with the red, and obviously look at all the white here. It's an absolute beautiful combination. Then you go to the, look at this, an absolute outcropping representing San Antonio very well. And then their alternate jerseys. You got the white out unis, the white jerseys, the red outcroppings, the white helmets with the red horns, an absolute star-studded team with star-studded uniforms, and if they can get some pieces together in the draft, they might make another run again. Well, let's get back to the topic at hand. The PTFL is now owned by me, Trash Panda. The Primetime Football League will be starting next week. There'll be a game on Monday, there will be a game on Thursday, and there will be a game on Saturday. I'm sorry, no. Saturday. I can't fucking speak today. I'm sorry. Early Saturday. These are going to be early games, but obviously they're going to be at night. But I'm going to be releasing them as I can. Live stream maybe Monday. Live stream maybe Thursday. Probably not, though. Probably just going to upload them to the channel as, competing with the NFL is a no-no. So obviously we're starting off with an absolute stacked slate for teams here. Let's talk about the week 1, and then we'll get into the draft. Week 1, you got Baton Rouge at Southampton, Washington at Cincinnati, Oklahoma at San Antonio, and Oregon at San Diego. Rivalry week, if you will, in the PCFL, and it's not going to be one you're going to want to miss. Trust me, these are going to be an absolute studs. And then we'll get into the draft in just a moment. PTFL draft will commence tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. My Twitch is in the channel bio, and it will be, like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. I will host it. The first team on the clock is Baton Rouge. They have the first overall pick after having a terrible season last year. New head coach. I'm excited to see what they can do. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been this update. Obviously, it's huge for me. I'm sorry, did I say new head coach? No, that's not what I meant. It's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of the PCFL now and WLW, and I can't wait to see where we can go with this. I'm ready to hit the ground running, and I hope you all tune in for the draft tomorrow on Twitch. Like I said, Baton Rouge is up first after their terrible season last year. Let's see if they can turn things around by getting someone in the draft. We'll see what can happen. But I'll give commentating, and I will give updates, and I will talk about everything that goes on with this draft when it occurs tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great evening. And this has been a WLW update and PTFL update. Hope you all have a good evening. And yeah, hopefully I see you tomorrow. Have a great one.